an answer which is not wrong, though not right. So he says, Shashikala, it is Shashikala, it is the moon's digit. So the word Shashikala in Sanskrit is Strilinga, and therefore it can easily answer to the question raised by Parvati. So she is asked, Dhanya Keyam Sthitavate Shirasi. Who is that lucky damsel that is staying on your crest? So, and he says Shashikala. You must note that the word Shashi is derived from the word Shasha. Shasha means the rabbit. In Hindi we have Sasa as its Abhabramsha form. So, one who has the mark of a Shasha is Shashin, the moon. And Shashin is masculine in Sanskrit. And therefore it's not proper to have it as the name for a girl. So, though often we do that mistake. So, Shashikala is fine. Kala is Akara, and therefore it is Strilinga, and therefore Shashikala can be a feminine name very well. And sometimes what happens is we abbreviate names. So we abbreviate Shashikala as Shashi. So, but far worse is calling Madhusudana by the short form Madhu, because Madhusudana gets that name because he killed a demon by name Madhu. Madhu and Kaitava are two demons. And therefore, if you name a person Madhusudana but call him by name Madhu, you are actually referring to the demon Madhu. Okay? And therefore, in Kannada, there is a beautiful example of husband and wife calling each other by their nicknames. So, the name of the husband is Mrityunjaya. So the wife calls him Mrityu, and the wife's name is Savitri, and he abbreviates it as Savu, also means death, meaning death in Kannada. So sometimes these abbreviations can create havoc. So anyhow, the word Shashi is best for boys and not for girls. So Shashikala is fine. So anyhow, Shiva says, her name is Shashikala. So that is Dhanya Keyam Sthitavate Shirasi Shashikala. So Shashikala is the digit of the moon. See, there are 16 digits of the moon. The word Kala in Sanskrit stands for 1/16th portion. Okay? So they say, as Amarkosha says, Kalatu Shodasho Bhagaha. So Kala is 1/16. So the digits of the moon, see, we refer to as 16 in number. Actually speaking, we see only 15 digits in the moon that we see. So for 15 days the moon is waxing, and 15 days he is waning, and therefore we have from Prathama to Amavasya, and then from Amavasya to Pratipat. So or Pratipat to say Purnima, and so on. So 15 days, so he becomes bigger and bigger, and 15 days he becomes smaller and smaller. The Kala on the head of Shiva, the digit on the head of Shiva is called the 16th Kala, the Shodashi Kala. Okay, that is what is praised, for example, in Lalita Sahasranama and so on, and that is also known as Chit Kala and so on. So the knowledge of the digit of consciousness and so on. Anyhow, that is say feminine in gender. Therefore, Shashikala is fine for a girl. So he says Shashikala, the digit of the moon, and then she wants to taunt him, asking whether it is her name. So obviously Shashikala is not the name. Okay, so Parvati is referring to Ganga. So do you call Ganga by that name? She is asking. So kin namaita dasyaha. Then Shiva says, of course, her name is Shashikala only. Namai vasyas tadetat, that is pertaining to Shashikala, the digit of the moon. Parichitam apide vismrutam kasya heto. You know it very well, but how come you have forgotten? Vismrutam kasya heto. Then she says, Nariyam prichhami nendum. I am not asking about the moon. I am asking about that woman. So that name. So now he cannot easily escape. So Nariyam prichhami nendum. And Shiva says, Kathayati Vijaya na pramanam yadindu. If the moon is not a reliable authority for you, then Vijaya can tell. Vijaya is the friend of Parvati, and therefore, so she is quite knowledgeable about the household affairs of Lord Shiva, as she is a family friend, and she is actually a close aide of Parvati, and therefore Vijaya can answer this question. Devya ninhamoti micho ritusirasaritam shakyamavya vibhorvaha. So, in order to conceal the identity of Ganga, Surasarit, so Shiva resorted to these elusive answers. May that Shiva protect us. And the point is this. So, Narim Prichami Nendum, Parvati was more specific in her question. So, she is asking a pointed question. My question pertains to that woman on your crest, not about the moon. Okay? So, in Sanskrit, the objective case sometimes serves the purpose of the dative case also. And therefore, Shiva makes use of this possibility of this double use. So, she is asking about Nari, Narim Prichami. So, I am not asking about the moon. That's what Parvati means. So, what Shiva says is, Narim Prichami Nendum. I am asking the woman. Then Shiva says, then if you want to ask the woman, yes, Vijaya is there, you can ask her. So, Kathayati Vijaya Napramanam Yadindu. So, I am putting the question to a woman and not to the moon. So, that meaning is also possible. And therefore, Shiva says, okay, if you are putting the question to a woman and not to the moon, okay, the moon will not answer, so let Vijaya answer. Now, this happens in several languages also, where the dative construction and the objective construction, they interchange. I can give you an example of G.K. Chesterton. So, he would dress in a very simple manner. So, he had gone to attend a conference in a hotel and getting bored during the conference, as most conferences are boring. So, he has come out, and someone who was staying in the hotel was checking out, and he thought that this Chesterton, because of the simplicity of his dress, must be an employee in the hotel. And therefore he said, hey, call me a taxi. And Chesterton is said to have replied, okay sir, you are a taxi. so call me a taxi has the intention of call for my sake. So get a taxi for me. So that is the intention of the person who spoke. And rather than getting furious, so in quarreling with the person, Chesterton is said to have wittily replied, okay sir, you are a taxi. So call me a taxi or me can also mean call me by that name or whatever. So therefore, he wittily used something very similar is happening here. So Narim Prichami Nendum means I am asking about the woman and not about the moon, was what was intended by Parvati. And Shiva takes the other possible meaning is I am putting the question to a woman and not to the moon. Then he says, so then you can ask your own friend Vijaya. So if you think that Hindu is not a pramana, so the moon is not giving a reliable answer for you, then you can as well ask Vijaya, your friend. So incidentally, Jaya and Vijaya are said to be the close friends of Parvati, especially during her tapas. And it must be noted that in the we have three margas called Shaiva, Vaishnava and Shakta. So in the Shakta procedures, you find many counterparts to the Vaishnava procedures also. For example, the Dwarapalakas of Vishnu are Jaya and Vijaya, both men. And the Dwarapalikas of Parvati are Jaya and Vijaya. So the similarity of names and similarity of functions are all there. So this whole book, Kali Vidambana of Nilakanta is all about exploiting one's ready wit and somehow make a living in Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, rather than living in a very sincere fashion, you live by your wit. So that is the essence of this work, and it shows how people belonging to various professions cheat others. So chiefly depending upon their wit. So that is the theme of this work. The first verse itself tells, how to win a debate. So, if you want to win in a verbal contest, the first thing is that you must carefully listen to the opponent, grasp what he is saying, and then give arguments of refutation. Okay. Now he says the first thing is na bhetavyam, never be afraid of the opponent. Okay. And the important means that is required for that is na bodhavyam, try not to understand what the opponent says, and you will understand your opponent if you listen to him. Therefore, never listen to your opponent. Na shravyam vadino vachaha, because the moment you understand, the moment you listen, you will understand. And the moment you understand, you will get afraid because you don't have any ready answers for the tough questions that he is asking. And therefore, na bhetavyam, na bodhavyam, na shravyam vadino vachaha. On the other hand, jhatiti prativaktavyam, you must reply all of a sudden and with force. So, jhatiti prativaktavyam sabhasu vijagishvihi. So, if you want to conquer in a debate, this is the recipe. So, first thing is don't listen to the opponent, okay? Because once you listen to it and you will understand, and once you understand, you will have no argument with you and you will become really afraid. And therefore, never be bothered about that. Na bhetavyam, don't be afraid. Na bodhavyam, don't try to understand. Na shravyam vadinocha, don't even listen to that. Chatiti prativaktavyam sabhasu vijagishubhi. And he has another formula for success. So, asambramo vilajjatvam avajna prativadini haso rajnastavashchaiti panchaiti jayahetava. If you want to conquer an opponent, these are the 5 instruments that you must make use of. Asambrama, have no confusion, don't be in a flurry at all. Vilajjatvam, so you must transcend the sense of shame, be shameless. Okay? Avajna prativadini, have nothing but contempt for your opponent. And hasaha, make fun of him. Okay, that will ensure your success. And rajnas tavaschet, see, oftentimes during debates among scholars, the king will be the presiding officer there. So he will give the final judgment as to who won and who got defeated and so on. So every now and then praise the king. Okay, what happens is the king will feel obliged to you directly or indirectly, consciously or unconsciously, and therefore he can't say that you have lost the game and so on. And if the other person has not done the same thing, then you are going to be declared winner. And therefore, haso ragis tavashche panchaite jayahetava.
Somebody must have read this to Prof.
Written like it.
So, with these 5 steps, you can win an argument in any sabha.
People are practicing this.
But himself was a very good scholar. Nilkanta Dikshita was a very sound scholar.
What is the era? When
So, he was in the 17th century in Madurai. He is the younger brother of Appaya Dikshita, the giant of a scholar that he was. And Nilkanta Dikshita has written a number of works like Ganga Avatarana, Vairagya Shataka, Anand Sagarastava, Shivotkrisha Manjari, Nilakanta Vijay Champu, Shivalilarnava, Raghuvirastava, Shivatattva Rahasya, Shanti Vilasa, Sabharanjana Shataka, and so on. In his Sabharanjana Shataka, towards the end, he says he wrote this satire only to educate people, not to make fun of people. So it's not his intention to deride people. It's not derision and mockery are not his intentions, but it is through that sometimes that we can study ourselves. So if you are able to laugh at ourselves, that's also something that's helpful for improving ourselves. That is the essential point. So he says one more method is there. Uchchairudghoshya jetavyam madhyasthashchera panditaha pandito yadidatraiva pakshapato adhiropyata. See, the person who sits as the judge, okay, sometimes maybe the king, sometimes maybe another scholar, okay. Now there are only 2 possibilities. That person is himself not a very great scholar, that's one possibility, and the person is a good scholar, that is possibility number 2. uh, what should you be your behavior if he is not a scholar, and what if he is. So for this you have two methods. Uchchairudghoshya jetavyam madhyasthasched apanditah. If the person acting as the judge is not a scholar, then you outshout everybody. That's the way you will win. Okay, you raise your voice and announce things with great confidence, beaming with confidence. If you say things, people will think that he must be right. So, Uchchairudghoshya jetavyam madhyasthasched apanditah. On the other hand, if he is a scholar, pandito yadi, tatraiva pakshapato adhiropyatam. He says, just accuse the person of being partial. So, if you make that big accusation, then everybody will begin to doubt whether it is true, whether this accusation is true or not. So, okay, so this way you can win. So, pandito iti tatraiva pakshapato adhiropyatam. So, accuse him of being pakshapata or being partial. He brings out the contrast between a person who wants to know the truth and the person who wants to win an argument. So there are two ways. One is abhyasyam lapsyamanena tattvam jigyasuna chiram. One who wants to know the truth, tattvam jignasamanena, he must study and practice for a long time. Chiram abhyasyam. So tattvam lapsyamanena, one who wants to know the truth and one who is a true jignasu, eager to know. On the other hand, jigishuna hriyam tyaktva karyah kolahalo mahan. So he must be bereft of all sense of shame. So unabashedly he must do a lot of galata. So that is the way a person has to win in a sabha. He says, if you want name and fame, Padhanani, Grantha Nirmani, what all American scholars are doing, teaching texts and writing books. So it is through these two that Pratishtha Tavadapyate, you will get a good name. But evancha tatthavyutpatti ayushante bhavenno. If you are a seeker of truth, nobody can ensure that even towards the end of your life you will get to know the truth or not. So, do you want pratishtha or do you want truth? So you decide for yourself. So if you want name and fame, okay, begin to teach texts and begin to write books. So the creed of the West is publish or perish. So therefore you keep writing books, then only you get pratishtha. So if you want to know the truth, nobody can ensure you that you will get to know the truth even towards the end of your life. So he is giving formula for now. He gives another formula for idiots to flourish. So how should a stupid person flourish in life? He says, Stotarah ke bhavishyanti murkhasya jagati tale nastauti chet swayam cha swam kada tasyastu nirvruti. An idiot must praise himself, he says. So never hesitate to praise yourself, because who will be there on earth to praise an idiot? So murkhasya jagati tale stotarah ke bhavishyanti. Unless he himself praises himself. Na stauti chet swayam cha swam. Swayam swam na stauti chet. If he does not praise himself, okay, then he cannot survive at all. When can he get joy in life? And if it's only when others praise us that we get great joy. When there is nobody to praise, okay, praise yourself, no problem at all. How to be a good teacher? So he gives a recipe for a good teacher. He says, keep reading, okay? It's getting late now already, okay? It will all become clear later. Vachyatam samayotitaha. So the time is up. And therefore, spashtam agre bhavishyati. By and by, you will get to know things and so on. Iti pathayetam grante kathinyam kutra vartate. So if they keep teaching like this, no problem will they face in teaching any text. So the same is applied by many teachers in colleges. So if a student asks a question in first university, the teacher will say, this will be discussed in detail in second university. And if the student asks the question in second pre-university, what were you doing in first pre-university? So you can always escape questions and say, so teaching is so easy. Now, who is a lucky teacher? Okay, and especially the teacher is stupid. Okay, so how can he become lucky? He says, provided there are these conditions, if these three conditions are fulfilled, then you can become a very lucky teacher. Agatitva matishraddha jnanabhasena driptata traya shishya guna hiyate murkhacharyasya bhagyajaha. So it's only out of the good luck that an idiotic teacher can get a student endowed with these three qualities. Number one, agatitvam. He has no other teacher to go to. This is the only teacher that is available. So others are either far off or he doesn't know them or whatever it is. Atishraddha. So he has immense faith in this teacher. So whatever he says is final. Okay. Jnanabhasena krittata. The student is content with even the semblance of knowledge. So if the teacher presents it as though it is some high knowledge or secret knowledge or the essence of what is to be known, so the student gets satisfied. If a stupid teacher gets a student endowed with these three qualities, then the teacher is very lucky. So, and suppose you don't study well and you have not become a good scholar, don't worry. I'll give you three ways of rescuing yourself. So, idina kwapi vidyayam sarvatha kramate matihi. In no branch of knowledge are you able to go deeper. Then, mantrikastu, you can become a mantrika. Okay, mantrikastu bhavishyamaha. Yogino yatayopiva. So, or you can become a yogin or you can become a sannyasi. So, the point is this. Whenever a person has to cheat, he must come looking like a thorough gentleman. Okay, so cheaters are dressed as gentlemen. Okay, sometimes the police are referred to as criminals in uniform. So that way, so he must have the look of someone who can be trusted, and therefore three persons can be easily trusted by people. So people have to trust them. One is you have a reputation of being a mantrika, a person who has mastered incantations, so several mantras, or a yogin, or a yati, or a sannyasi. So by your very dress, so people can get fooled sometimes, and therefore, so we have three recourses if you do not do well in any branch of knowledge. Now, the practice of teaching some mantras and so on is not a very easy thing, but still, you can still attain great fame and lot of money. How? He says, avilambe kritya siddhav. Now you do some mantropadesha to somebody, okay, and by sheer luck, somehow what the fellow wanted to attain, he attains, and soon enough, okay. Avilambe mantra siddhav mantrikai rapyate yasha. The mantrika becomes very famous. So everybody thinks. So you see, he gave him that mantropadesha, and the fruit of that mantra he got. This fellow got very soon, and therefore he gets a lot of fame. Vilambe karma bahulyam. Suppose the mantra siddhi doesn't happen, that is, the success is not attained by the customer, then he must say, you have a lot of karmans of your previous janma, and therefore you have to do a lot of karmans now. So propitiatory rites and so on, all these things you have to do. So by and by, certainly you are going to achieve success. So vilambe karma bahulyam vikhyapya avapyate dhanam. That way you can get more money. So in the first case, so you get, see, if the results are immediate, you get good name. In the second case, if there is delay in getting the fruit desired, then you are bound to get a lot of money. So there is this famous statement of Abraham Lincoln. So Abraham Lincoln once said, all people can be fooled for some time. Some people can be fooled for all times, but all people cannot be fooled for all times. Someone said, repeat. He said, all people can be fooled for some times. He said, stop. That is good enough for me. If all people can be fooled for some time, that is good enough for me. So that's the kind of procedure he is adopting here. And therefore, these are various ways of getting things done. In modern times also we have teachers being caricatured. For example, Bernard Shaw said, "Those who can do, those who can't teach." So who becomes a teacher? One who cannot do things. And Emerson's advice to the teacher was, the teacher must do everything to protect the pupil from his own influence. So, in other words, of course, what Emerson trying to say is to inspire originality in the student. So the student should not become totally conditioned by the teacher's approaches. So we should think on original lines also. And therefore, it's not that the teacher's own approach should cloud the thinking of the student, and he must be capable of original thinking. There is also this saying in Sanskrit, "Labdha vidyo gurum dveshti, labdha bharyastu mataram." So the disciple who learns, acquires good knowledge from the teacher, begins to hate the teacher because he cannot shine as long as the guru is alive. Similarly, labdha bharyastu mataram. So one who is married, so will begin to hate his own mother. So there is a saying like that in Sanskrit. Now, for a mantrika to flourish, okay, he has to follow an important procedure. He doesn't know his field very well, but still he has to flourish. Yavad ajnanato maunam acharo va vilakshanaha tavan mahatma rupena parivasiti mantriki. So, if you don't know, just be dumb. Don't open your mouth much. In Kannada, there is a saying, "Boy bitter bandagedu." Okay, so the more you open your mouth, the more your ignorance will come out. Bhartahari says, "Vibhushanam maunam apanditana." So silence is the best recourse for those who do not know well. So yavad ajnanato maunam, or alternative number 2, acharo va vilakshanaha. So if you have some nonsensical achara, tavat mahatmya rupena pariyavasati mantriki. So people will begin to interpret these things as the mahatmya of the mantrika. So they take him to be mahatman, mahatmanaha bhavaha mahatmyam. That's how but mahan atma isyasaha mahatma. So mahatmanaha bhavaha mahatmyam. So being a mahatman is mahatmya, and therefore when you are silent and don't open your mouth much, and if your activities are something unusual, then people will definitely take you to be a mantrika, a mantrika with mahatmya. Now, how about an astrologer? How to flourish as an astrologer? He says the astrologer must have even kings as clients, okay? And if he gets such great clients, he can make easy money. And if he wants to make some predictions regarding the king, the astrologer must have his own net of spies. So, who can get to know a lot of information about a lot of people and possible clients and their possible problems that they may come with and so on. Therefore, he says, inquire through your spies. Charan vicharya daivagyaini vaktavyam bhubhujam phalam. So, then you can make predictions regarding the future of kings. Because grahachara parigyanam tesham avashyakam yatah. So, because you ought to know the fruit of the various grahacharas of the king, and therefore you must employ the charas. In Sanskrit, the word chara means movement, but the word chara or gudachara also means a spy. And if you want to predict the grahachara and the fruits of the grahacharas of the king, first employ charas. So first employ spies. So there is a play on this word chara. And he says, charan vicharya devagnyahi vaktavyam bhubhujam param grahachara parigyanam tesham avashyakam yatah. One of the questions that astrologers are often asked is whether the child is going to be born is going to be a male child or female child. It's called Garbha Prashna. So in the case of Garbha Prashna, how should the astrologer handle this issue? He says, Putra ityeva pitari. Tell the father that a male issue is going to be born. Kanyake ityeva matri. Tell the mother it's going to be a girl child. Okay. and Garbha Prashneshu Kathayan Daivagno Vijayi Bhavet. So it will be one of the two. Then if the mother asks, "Hey, I think you told it was a girl." You ask your husband, so they did not tell you that it's going to be a male child. So this way it will escape. And many times people are curious about the length of their lifespan. So this is called Ayuv Prashna. So question regarding Ayus. So how long am I going to live? So he says, Ayuv Prashne, tell invariably only one answer. Namely, they are going to live long. Dirgham Ayush Ayuhu Vachyam Mohurtikaihi Janani. Why? Because Jivantaha, those who live long, Bahumanyante. See, this astrologer told me that I am going to live long. Yes, I am living long. This astrologer is indeed honorable. Mritaha Prakshantikam Puna. Will a dead man ever come and question you predicted long for me? So, will they ever come and question? So, impossible. Therefore, whoever comes and asks you about the lifespan, so you can definitely tell them that they are going to live for a very long time. So, he says, on the model of this itself, he slightly generalizes this answer and says, whenever any person asks you a question, answer in a manner that it's capable of two interpretations. So, Sarvam Kotidvayopetam. So, Koti in Sanskrit means corner. So, the two horns of a dilemma. So, they are called two kotis of an argument. And therefore, Sarvam Kotidvayopetam. The way you must speak should be something, should always must go for ambiguity, so that you can afterwards interpret it in a suitable manner. So, master that art of answering questions so that they can yield two possible answers. Sarvam Kotidvayopetam, Sarvam Kaladvayavati. So, sometimes you make predictions and people ask, when will I get a promotion, or some such thing people will ask. So, Kaladvayavati. So, give two times, so that should be possible. It should be open to two interpretations. And then Sarvam Vyamishtramivacha Vaktavyam Daivachintakaihi. And whatever they speak should be a little confusing. So Sarvam Vyamishtramivacha. So if it is very clearly confusing, then they will ask for clarification. And there should be as though confusing. And that he can exploit later if they come and inquire. So Sarvam Vyamishtra. See, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks the same question. So, Vyamishtrena Vakyena Buddhim Mohayasi Vame. He says, "Oh Krishna, you seem to be speaking in a very confusing manner. So, Vyamishtrena Vakyena. So, through your words which are apparently confusing, Buddhim Mohayasi, you're as though deluding me." So, that's the question that Arjuna asks Krishna, and Krishna gives the answer to all the questions. But here, you can make a living out of giving such replies. Incidentally, Mira's thesis pertains to this very thing, namely the extra-literal meaning. So, the non-literal meaning that we get out of utterances, okay, that's being seriously investigated by cognitive linguistics. So, in particular branch, how we get more meaning than is stated in the words. So, the non-literal meaning, how is it that is obtained? So, there they have stipulated a number of conditions and the process of derivation of such senses which are not directly stated. So, you often speak and say, okay, what actually mean is, so you add this sentence, what I actually mean is, so and so on. So, that obviously means that you did not intend what is said. So, there is something extra, so you have to add some notes. So you will say, in other words, so this is what I am trying to say, and so on. And therefore, we always convey things not exactly in a very direct manner. So often, very indirectly, we refer to this statement of Einstein. There you can see how, if something is stated in a very open manner, then it becomes rather dull. If it is communicated in a concealed manner, it is more effective. Einstein says, I do not know about the Third World War, but the Fourth World War will be fought with sticks and stones. Okay, so what does that mean? If the Third World War takes place, so the whole world is going to be destroyed to such an extent that you'll nothing, you're left with nothing to fight with, even to fight with, and therefore this will get to the base and crude level as say the earlier beings were. So there is one statement of Einstein, and he says um, regarding infinity, he says two things are infinite, namely the vastness of the universe and the stupidity of human beings. And he says, he adds, and I'm not sure about the first one. So it means that humans are definitely stupid. But if you state it in a very plain manner, it doesn't have half the charm. Okay? So when you make the listener think a bit, so use his faculty, then it makes it more effective. And therefore, rather than stating things in a very straightforward and simple manner, so this is called dhvani in Sanskrit. So vyangyartha or dhvanyartha in Sanskrit. So communication that way is what is more effective. There is also the case of a lady who had brought a dog with her in a bus, and that was making a lot of noise. So people asked her not to bring the dog in the bus, and so you please get down and all that. She would not listen, and the dog was scaring many. And then one fellow took the dog out and just threw it out of the window. Okay? And another person commented, "You have thrown the wrong bitch out." So it is a suggestive meaning that is more effective than the meaning that is conveyed in a very straight manner. And therefore he says, Sarvam kotidvayopetam, Sarvam kaladvayavadhi. Many times it so happens that the judge says something and the clerk writes down something else. It is said, this is said by Kailasam. He says, the judge gave the dictation, hang him, not leave him. And the clerk wrote it down, hang him not, comma, leave him. Just by misplacement of the comma, it gives a totally opposite sense. So, sarvam kotidvayopetam, sarvam kaladvayavadhi, sarvam vyamishtamyocha, vaktavyam daivachintakai. And then people come and ask astrologers regarding getting money. He says, if people who come and ask regarding this are very poor, then do tell them that they are going to receive a lot of wealth. So, nirdhananam dhanavaptim. Suppose it's a rich man who comes and asks, dhaninam adhikam dhanam. So, you will get even more wealth. So, bruvana sarvatha grahya lokaihi jyotishikaha janaha. People love to go to such an astrologer who makes such positive predictions. So, it has been said that a king consulted an astrologer. So, and the astrologer told him, this is a very unfortunate horoscope. You will die even before your children. No, your children will die before you, such thing. So, the king got him beheaded. Okay, another astrologer came. He said, "Oh, you live such a long life. So, even beyond the life of your children and grandchildren, you will live. You will still have a long life, and so on." The king felt very happy that he was speaking something positive about it, and therefore, these are ways in which one must communicate and give a positive impression. He says, right in 17th century, of course, it has been there. You see how astrology is universal. So he says, Api sagara padyanta vichetavya vasundhara. Right up to the oceans, you can make a search on the entire earth. Desho yaratne matropi nasti daivajna varjita. You don't get even a small span of land, so which is without astrologers. So everywhere throughout the world, people are just curious, and therefore astrologers can flourish everywhere. And he says, there are astrologers who know the names of the days of the week, Varan Kechit, and then Grahan Kechit, some know the names of planets also. Kechit Rikshana Janate, some know the names of even the stars. So Tritayam Ye Vyananti, those who know all the three, They are indeed, they Vachaspati, they are Vachaspatis, they are Brihaspatis. So, see, Varan, there are only 7 Varas. Grahan, there are more. Nakshatras, there are 27, and therefore, this is higher knowledge, and therefore, there are many astrologers who do not have even a modicum of knowledge can still flourish, he says. Now, coming to doctors, he says, doctors will have a very poor luck if, see, there are 2 conditions. If people are very healthy, or if they have illnesses which cannot be cured, in either case, they won't flourish. Swasthaihi asadhya rogaischa jantabhir nasti kinchana. So with such creatures, so the astrologers, the doctor is not going to make money if people are very healthy and if they are sure that their disease is not curable. Kataraha dirgha rogascha bhishajam bhagyahitavaha. So doctors will be lucky if they get patients who are very timid, kataraha and dirgha rogascha. So those who have long-lasting illnesses, they constitute the good luck of doctors. There is another verse in Sanskrit. Of course, one verse probably you all know. It says, Vaidyaraja namastubhyam yamaraja sahodara yamastarade pranam vaidya pranam dhananicha. So, Vaidyaraja, oh best of doctors, salutations to you, namastubhyam. You are verily the brother of Yama, Yamaraja sahodara. Because Yamastu harate pranan, Yama takes away only your life. Vaidyaha pranan dhananicha. The doctor takes away both your life and money. There is an improvement on this verse. So a doctor had gone to a neighboring village and he was returning from there. And on the way he saw a body being burnt in the crematorium. And then he says, Chitam prajulitam drishtva vaidyo vismayamayo. The doctor, she was struck with wonder. Naham gato name bhrata kasyedam hastaragho. So neither did I go there nor did my brother. So whose magic is this? And therefore he says, if a doctor has to flourish, he must follow these 2 things. Nati dhairyam pradataryam. Never give full assurance to the patient that his disease will be definitely cured. Nati bhitishcharogini. So, or don't scare him too much. So, because in the first case, naishchantyat na adime danam. In the first case, the patient becomes free from worry. So, this is anyhow going to be cured. So, it's only a matter of time. And therefore, he will not open his purse. Okay? Nairashyadeva nantime. And in the latter case, the patient loses all hope and therefore does not give money. So, therefore, he must not create too much of confidence nor too much of scare in the patient, and that's how he can flourish. Bhaishajyantu, there was one doctor who said, do not worry, I have given you the medicine. In case you get up in the morning, you can take this medicine. So, he is himself confident that the patient may not get up in the morning. So, Bhaishajyantu yatha kamam patyantu katinam vadetu. Arogyam vaidya mahatmyat anyathatvam apathyata. The doctor, in order to flourish, must give a lot of medicine, prescribe medicines in abundance. Bhaishajyantu yatha kamam. Or as this place is saying, Patyantu katinam vadet. Dietary restrictions, you must make it very severe so that he cannot follow. So, arogyam, suppose the patient is cured of his illnesses. So then, vaidya mahatmya, see the greatness of my medicine. Anyathatvam, suppose he is not cured. Did you follow my diet? So did you follow all the Bhaktya rules? So obviously the fellow will not have done. Therefore, there is a saying in Sanskrit. You have all heard of the statement, Yadva tadva bhavishyati. Okay? The origin of that is this. How does a doctor do? How does he treat his patient? See, anyhow, the matter is technical, and therefore the common man cannot know what medicine he is giving. So he says, Yasya kasya taror moolam. Take the moola or the mulika of any tree. Okay, yena kenapi mishram, mix it with anything, okay, with any other, see, Mulika. Yasmai kasmai pradataryam, give it to anybody, okay. Yadva tadva bhushya. Nonsense will. See, people always suffer at the hands of people who are technical. So, it is said that, see, this writing of graffiti, a lawyer wrote, I plead for all. The doctor wrote beneath, I prescribe for all. The priest wrote, I pray for all. The common man read all these things and said, and he wrote, I pay for all. Because he doesn't know the technique. Sometimes we go to the doctor and ask, what has happened to me? So he has to tell us what has happened to us. And therefore, the more the ignorant the patient is, the more happy the doctor is, and so on. So there was in Reader's Digest, there is an advice to a training to a new salesman of spectacles in optician's shop. He says, keep your eye keenly on the customer. Okay, when the customer comes and asks, what's the cost of these spectacles? You must say 2,500 rupees. And if the fellow is knowledgeable, he will be shocked. So it cannot cost that much. So, but if he shows no consternation in his face, he must say, for the frame. So he is not inquired in any other shop. And then he must say glasses extra. Okay? And glasses must say 3,000 rupees. And if the fellow is really ignorant, so if he radiates his ignorance, he must say each. That is how he must train a salesman. Okay.
You actually do this training, right?
So that Edva Tadva Bhavishya also occurs in another verse. It says, what would happen if this is done? Markata, take the case of a monkey. Markatasya surapanam. So you make it drink, see, wine. And then tasya vrishchika damshanam. So you get it stung by a scorpion. Okay. Tanmadhye bhuta sanchara. Then suppose it is also possessed by a devil. Then yadva tadva bhavishya. Now he says, even if the doctor is ignorant, he can still flourish. Okay? Actually, he must know what exactly is the illness. He must be able to diagnose that. And he must know the exact name of the illness. And he must know the nature of the disease. And he must know the medicine that is to be prescribed. He says, even if he doesn't know all these things, he can still flourish. How? Nidanam, the pathology of the disease. Roga namani, name of the illness. Satmya satmye. Satmya means the three humors, namely kapha, vata and pitta, being in the right proportion. Asatmya is being not in the right proportion. Chikitsitam, medication. So the satmya and asatmya refer to what imbalance has taken place in the body. And chikitsitam is medication. Sarvamapi upadekshanti, all these will be taught. Roginaha sahane striyaha, the women folk in the house. So when you visit, say, patient at his home, the women at home, so they will be, in the course of time, in the course of the conversation, if it strikes an intelligent conversation with them and ask about the patient, etc., so many of these details will come out. And therefore he can get to know things from them, from the women folk of the household. So rather than himself knowing everything. There is a saying in Sanskrit, what is the real role of a teacher, of a good doctor? He says, Vyadhes tattva prajnanam vedanayascha nigraha. Only these two things are the genuine domain of the doctor. So, getting to know what truly is the illness. Vyadhes tattva prajnanam. And how to get relief from the pain. Vedanayascha nigraha. Yedad vaidyasya vaidyatvam na vaidyah prabhur aishaha. So the vaidya does not have control over the life of the patient. This is in the case of a true doctor. So doctors like this can flourish. So he says, Now, doctors get to know more and more, get educated in their own field. This way, Jrimbhamaneshu rogeshu mriyamaneshu jantushu rogatattveshu shanakaihi vyutpadyante chikitsakaha. Chikitsakaha, the doctors, so get to become more and more knowledgeable. Vyutpadyante, they get educated. So shanakaihi, slowly, in regard to the truth regarding illnesses, rogatattveshu. How Jrimbhamaneshu rogeshu, he gives some medication and the situation worsens. Then he will know, okay, I should not give such a medication because that will worsen the situation. Mriyamaneshu jantushu, and there will be many who will die at the hands of the doctor. Then he will know, okay, this medicine kills people. So it is this way that the doctor gets to know more and more. So not otherwise. So how does the doctor make money? So he says there are 3 steps and 3 ways in which he can get more and more money. Pravartanartham arambhe, at the commencement, so he must ask consultation fee or so he's coming for the starting of the treatment, so he requires some money. Madhye tu aushadhe hetave, so then he says, I require some special medicine for that, and that's a bit costly, I'll get it from somewhere, and therefore you must ask for money. Bahumanartham antecha, and in case the fellow is cured, so you want to give an honorarium for the doctor, so as a mark of gratitude. So bahumanartham antecha jihirshanti chikitsakaha. So this is how doctors get money from the patients. He says the doctors must be careful because they will have rivals. Okay, lipsamaneshu vaidyeshu, when doctors get quite greedy. Chiradasadhya rogam, suppose for a long time they don't get good patients, then they can easily suspect that they will have some dayadas, the rivals or competitors. Who are the rivals for doctors? Daivajnaha mantrikaha, the astrologers and mantrikas, they constitute rivals for them. Actually, the word dayada is derived in Kannada. We often use the word dayadi. Okay, actually, it is a Sanskrit word from daya and ada. Ada is to eat. So ada bhakshane, atti means he eats. So daya means the share, what is being given. So the inheritance of property. So that is called daya. In fact, even the word sampradaya is similarly derived. So what has been handed down from tradition, that is sampradaya. So those who study law study a text called Daya Bhaga, so of Mitakshara. So in Bengal school there is one text called Daya Bhaga. So the way property is to be shared. So if a person dies intestate without writing his will, so how much of his property should be shared by whom? So the first degree, second degree, third degree, and so on. So depending upon the closeness of the relationship and many other factors. So that is Daya Bhaga. Those who do not know the original word, if they read merely in English, they read it as Daya Bhaga. So there is no sharing of compassion there. It is Daya Bhaga. So Dayada means one who consumes. So one is entitled to consume what has been inherited, what is called an agnate in English, Daya Bhaga. So रोगस्योपक्रमेण सान्त्वं मध्ये किंचित् धनव्ययः शनैरनादरः शान्तौ स्नातो वैद्यं न पश्यति. He cautions the doctor about the typical behavior of patients. Now, rogasyopakrame santvam. So, in the commencement of the illness, so some kind words, the patient will utter to soft words. So he'll be very soft in his attitude towards the doctor. Madhye kinchit dhanavyaha. In the course of medication, he will of course spend some money. Shanair anadara shantav. Once the disease is getting cured, he will become indifferent towards the doctor. He will not visit him or he will not pay him his dues. Snato vaidyam napashyati. And if he is fully cured and takes his bath, suppose the doctor has asked him not to take bath till this illness is cured and so on. And finally, when he takes his bath, then he will not even go and see the doctor, because if he go and sees the doctor, he will have to pay some more money and all that. So doctors had to be very intelligent. So it has been said of one doctor, so how he gave an intelligent answer to a friend. So there was a party, and a fellow thought that this is the best time to go and ask the doctor. He addressed him and said, suppose a friend is suffering from this illness, what medicine would be prescribed? So, because he is asking in a party and is asking on behalf of a friend, so he cannot demand money there in the midst of the party, in the midst of friends. So, what should the doctor do? It seems the doctor said, I will suggest the patient to come and see me in my office. So instead of giving the details there, so he asked him to come to his office. So he must know how patients behave, and therefore once the patient is fully cured, so he can expect no money from him, and therefore take whatever as early as possible. There is a saying in Sanskrit, two persons are not cared for once the job is done. Upadhyayascha Vaidyascha Karyante Hyaprayojakaha. So, a teacher and a doctor, it's only as long as they serve the need of somebody that they will be respected afterwards. So, nobody will bother about them. Karyante Hyaprayojakaha. Uttirnetu pare pare naukayah kim prayojanam. Once you have gone to the other shore of the river, so what use does the boat have for you? And therefore, they will be soon forgotten. He says, if you have one or more of these factors, you will be very successful. What are these? The ones that he has shown earlier. Daivajñatvam, Mantrikata, Bhaishajyam, Chatukoshalam, Ekaikam Artha Dvitriyogastu Durlabha. So if you are an astrologer, yes, you can make money. Or a mantrika, yes, or a doctor, or for Chatukoshalam, if you are witty in your speech, then also you can make enough money. Ekaikam Arthalabha, each one of these can fetch you a lot of money. Dvitriyogastu Durlabha, having a combination of two or more of these is indeed rare. So one must master these things, and especially Chatukoshalam, wit in speech, is what is very important. He says, I will give you two recipes. Do you want Dhana Yoga? Then I have this recipe. If you want Daridri Yoga, I have a recipe for that. He says, Anritam Chatu Vadascha Dhana Yogo Mahanayam. So telling lies with ease and uttering words of flattery. So Anritam Chatu Vadascha Dhana Yogo Mahanayam. With these two, one can make enough money. If you want truth and true scholarship, so Satyam Vaidushyam Ityesha Yogaha Daridriya Karakaha, you will forever be poor, and therefore think and decide what is it that you want. This work has over 100 verses, 103 verses. So obviously we will not be able to go through all the verses. I will make only a selection of verses. He says, in Kali Yuga, there are these new 5 pranas. We have the word Pancha Prana in Sanskrit. So it refers to Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana and Samana. He says, in Kali Yuga, I give you a different set of 5 pranas. They are Grihini, the housewife, Bhagini Tasyaha, her sister, Shashiro, her 2 parents-in-law, and Shyalaha, so the brother-in-law. Ityapi Praninam Kalina Srishtaha Pancha Pranaha Ime Pare. These are the new 5 pranas in Kali Yuga. Which means that after marriage, see, one leans so much towards the wife and her family. So, and he forgets his own family. So maybe his own parents or brothers, or maybe younger sisters who are not married, or younger brothers who need to be educated, all these. So all this will be forgotten, and these become the 5 new pranas. So Grihini, so wife and her sister, and then his parents-in-law, and Shyalaha. So it is from that word Shyala in Sanskrit that we have the word Sala in Hindi. So Shyalaha, Ityapi. So these are the 5 pranas in Kali Yuga. He says there are 5 people who live like veritable parasites in one's own home, and how they consume your resources unnoticeably, like a rat. Akhu in Sanskrit means a rat. Like a rodent at home, akhuvat grihe. So they bhakshayanti, they consume things. Ajnataha eva grihinam, without the knowledge of the householder. Who are they? Jamataraha, so sons-in-law. Bhagineyaha, sisters, sons or daughters. Matulaha, so one's uncles, that is from the mother's side. In English, you have the word uncle, which covers both mother's side and father's side. But in India, the relationship between with the relations of one's mother and those of the father were very different. See, Dayadas were always from the father's side. So, because the inheritance was from the father's side, from father to son, and so on. So, therefore, Dayadas are all from that side, from father's side, and they are all, see, by definition, rivals and enemies, and so on. Whereas mother's side, they are all very kind and considerate, and one can take liberty with, say, the mother's brother, or the mother's brothers can take liberty with us, and so on. So, the Matula is mother's brother, and Bhagineya is sister's son. Okay, and therefore from that is from Bhagini. So Jamataraha, Bhagineyaha, Matulaha, and Dara Bandhavaha, and relations, the kith and kin of one's wife. So these four, Jamataraha, Bhagineyaha, Matulaha, and Dara Bandhavaha, these are the four kinds of people who, like rats, consume whatever is in the home. So they keep coming, and you can't say easily no to them because they are all from the wife's side, and therefore these are veritable parasites, he says. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Shashuragriha Nivasaha Swargatulyam Narana. Going and residing in one's father-in-law's house is like a veritable Swarga, heaven at home. Swargatulyam Narana. So this is what a person wrote when he went and enjoyed the hospitality in his father-in-law's house. So he wrote it on the wall of the bathroom. Okay, he was so excited and thrilled by the kind of hospitality that they showed that he wrote Shashuragriha Nivasaha Swargatulyam Narana. Next day when he went for bath, he saw that one line was below that was written, and that is written by his brother-in-law. So it says, Yadi vasati viveki panchava shat dinani. So if sensible son-in-law stays for 5 or maximum 6 days. So he could not understand what it means. And therefore he wrote one more line. Dadhi madhu ghrita lobhair masamekam vasechet. So because he's regularly served dadhi, so thick curds, madhu, honey, and ghrita, ghee. See, all these are being served, and therefore, out of fondness for these, suppose he lives for a month, full month, masamekam vasechet. Next day the answer was ready. Tadupari dinamekam padaraksha praharaha. So should he give a day more, then he will be given this royal treatment of padaraksha prahara. So that is the kind of treatment that one can expect to get. He says, the son-in-law can behave as he pleases till a particular time. Afterwards, he cannot behave like that. He says, what is that time? See, there is a saying in English, if you are not a communist till you are 40, you are a fool. If you are a communist after 40, you are a fool. So, that means by that age, say earlier in the flush of youth, you will have high idealism and you will easily get carried away by the slogans and shibboleths of communism. So, afterwards, when you get to know the truth, then you will know this is not the real truth. So, therefore, you will become wise. So, he says, Jamatuhu Vakrata. So, a Jamatu can have, Jamatru or son-in-law can have an odd behavior. So, whimsical behavior, Vakrata. Tavatu. Yavatu Shyalasya Bharata. As long as his brother-in-law is still a young boy. Okay? Prabuddha Matre, once he becomes a little grown up, Saralyam, so he can no more behave in a very whimsical manner, he must begin to live in a straightforward manner. Prabuddhesmin, if the Shyala, the brother-in-law, becomes smart, he has only one way, Palayanam, run away from the father-in-law's house. He says, there are 5 things which are um, the which bring luck to the Jamathra son-in-law. One is Bharya Jyeshtha. His wife must be the eldest in the family. So in her house, she must be the eldest daughter, and therefore she will have command over everybody. Bharya Jyeshtha. Shishushyala, and the brother-in-law must be a very young boy, too small a boy. Shwashru Swatantriyavartini, and his mother-in-law is Virago, so she is a person of a different sort and lives her own ways and so on. Shwashurastu Pravasicha, and the father-in-law is always on tour. So if these four conditions are satisfied, then Jamatuhu Bhagya Karanam, so the son-in-law can have his own ways freely. Now, how does the wife treat her own relatives and her husband's relatives? So he says, Grihini Swajanam Bhakti Shushkaharam Mitashanam. She describes all her own relatives as Shushkaharam, though they eat Mitashanam very minimally and they don't consume fats and oils and so on. So, whereas Pratipakshyansu, so then it's a question of her husband's relatives who come and stay. Bahvashan, they eat a lot, and Kshirapan, so they drink a lot of milk. Taskaranapi, and they even steal things. So that's the way. Now it is said that a mother-in-law spoke of the kind of treatment that she would give to her daughter and to her daughter-in-law. So he says this performance of Abhyangastana, okay, take this oil bath, so that she would give to her daughter on Tuesdays and Fridays, whereas to her daughter-in-law it was on every Deepavali and Yugadi, so that he would say very fastly. And the society, Yugadi Masala, Deepavali Masala, Yugadi Masala, Deepavali Masala. Magadi, Vidambana Lecture, Mangalwara. There was a professor in Bangalore, in a college, so who did not have a good control over English. He's teaching chemistry, so he's teaching titration. He would say, see, you must allow the liquid to flow slowly, okay? So he did not know how to express it properly. He said, don't pour, but pour.
This is not my school talking. You know the professor.
You can identify.
Now astrology is coming up.
So sometimes we mistranslate. So and say the principal asks, college why are you rotating in the college? So now he gives one special yoga. It is called Ashranta Kalaha Yoga. So it means quarrel non-stop. That is also an astrological yoga, he says. So if you have these conditions are fulfilled, then there will be quarrels non-stop at home. Now what are the conditions that are required? Number one, Bharye Dve. One must have two wives. Okay. And then Bhav Putra, each must have many issues. Okay, then they will regularly have quarrels. Added to this, Daridriyam, there should be poverty at home, and Roga Sambhava, and also some should be suffering from illnesses. So this gives a good recipe. And Jirnaucha Mata Pitarau. So this one is Ashranta Kalavo Nama Yogo Yungraha Medina. Now he gives one more recipe for hell at home. So if you want hell at home, then think of this combination. Bharye Dve, same thing. Bahavav Putraha. So the first one I mixed up. Bharye Dve Putrashalinyo Bhagini Pativarjita. So his sister who has lost her husband, she has become widowed. So then there will be a regular quarrel between these two wives and that Bhagini. Now this one for getting the home to be held, Bharye Dve Bahavav Putraha Daridriyam Roga Sambhavaha Jirnaucha Mata Pitra, very old parents. So this is sufficient to make the home hell. After dealing with the wife and the son-in-law and so on, he deals with money lenders, creditors. So Smrte Sidanti Gatrani. If you just even remember the creditor, so your limbs all begin to tremble. Smrte Sidanti Gatrani. Drishte Prajna Vinishti. If you chance to see him, then you will really lose your consciousness. Drishte Prajna Vinishti. Aho Mahadidam Bhutam Uttamarna Abhishabditam. So this money lender from whom you have taken a lot of loan, he is indeed a great Bhuta. So a terrible goblin he is. So he says, even Yama waits for the last day of your life. Antakopi jantunam antakalam apekshate. But not so this money lender. Na kala niyamah kashchit uttamarnasya vidyate. So the money lender would never wait for that. So he keeps making repeated visits and threatening you and so on. So he says, it's very natural if you see Yama, you will get afraid. Because Yama has his damstras or special teeth which are frightening, and then he has his pasha, snare or noose in his hand. But with one person, even though he does not have such fangs, so Navashyamo Mukhe Damstram, Na Pasham Va Karanchale, no noose in hand. Uttamarnam Avekshaiva, seeing the money lender, so the fellow from whom you have borrowed money, Tatha Yudvijate Manaha, you will get agitated. In fact, Rina means loan, and the money lender is called Uttamarna, and the borrower is called Adhamarna, and therefore, so Uttamarnam, seeing him, you will have these effects. Some verses about poverty. He has one positive thing to say about poverty and one negative to say about that. Shatrau Santvam Pratikaraha Sarvarogeshu Bheshajam Mrityor Mrityunjaya Dhyanam Daridriyeta Nakinchana. So we have antidotes for everything. Shatrau Santvam Pratikaraha. If it is an enemy, then sometimes if you can't conquer him, if he is very powerful, then speak to him sweetly and then you can win him over to your side and he will not offend you. Shatru Santam Pratikara. That is the Pratikara that is required there. As regards illnesses, if you take the proper medicine, that is the Pratikara. That is the antidote there. Sarva Rogeshu Bheshajam. Mrityoho, if you are afraid of death, do Mrityunjaya Dhyanam. So if you do Mrityunjaya Japa and so on, that is the antidote. But Daridriyetu Nakinchana. So for poverty, there is no antidote at all, and therefore one must ensure that he. So that's why they say one may be born right, but one should not. One may be born poor, but one should never die poor. They say, and therefore one must be careful regarding that. He has a positive thing to say regarding poverty. He says, Daridriyam Paramoshtam. Poverty is indeed an excellent medicine because it has three positive effects. Shaktin karoti sanchare, shitoshne marshayatyapi, deepayat yudare varnyam daridriyam paramoshadam. So those who are very rich can get very fat and cannot easily move about here and there. So shaktin karoti sanchare. So it is poverty that gives you energy to move about. Shitoshne marshayatyapi. And cold and heat you can learn to bear it easily because of poverty. See, that is mark of tapas. In Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, he says, tapaha dvandva sahanam. So, being able to withstand the pairs of opposites like heat and cold. So, these constitute tapas, he says, and therefore, shitoshne marshayatyapi. Deepayat yudare vanhyam. And it makes you get hungry very bad. So many rich people go to the doctor saying that I am not getting hungry properly. So Daridriyam Paramoshadam. So Daridriya is indeed a great medicine. A fellow told his friend that see, you are cracking the joke at his expense. So because he was fat and you are criticizing him as very fat and all that, you are cracking the joke at his expense. The fellow corrected him. No, I am cracking a joke, it is expands. So, with such people, we find that they are open to many illnesses, and therefore it's better not to be too bad. Coming to wealth, so what are the effects of wealth upon a person? Prakashayat yahankaram pravartayat taskaran protsahayati dayadan lakshmi kinchid upasita. A little wealth a person gets and see his behavior. So that wealth makes him display his ahankara. Prakashayat yahankaram. So his ego. Pravartayat taskaran. It makes thieves active. Protsahayati dayadan. So your agnates, your dayadas, so they will also stir into action. So the moment you get some money, so people, different types of people will set their eyes on you. Vidambayanti ye nityam vidagdhan dhanino jana ta evati vidambayanti shriya kinchid upekshitaha. The moment a person gets a bit rich, so he makes a mockery of people whom he should actually respect, knowledgeable people. Vidambayanti ye nityam vidagdhan. In Sanskrit, vidagdha means a knowledgeable person. Vidagdhan dhaninaha jana. So rich people mock at them. But the moment they lose their wealth, shriya kinchid upekshitaha ta evati vidambayanti. It is they, the rich, those who are rich, they would themselves be laughed at. Now, if a person gets rich suddenly, then what happens? It says, it has three effects. Number one, pramanya buddhi stotesh. If somebody praises you, you think you actually are those things. So when others praise, see, it is said, flattery inflates a man like the football, only to be kicked about here and there. Therefore, whenever somebody flatters you, you must get alert. So generally, the moment somebody flatters us, so we get deluded and we can easily be trapped. So he says, the newly rich person comes to really believe that the words of flattery are all applicable to him. Pramanya buddhi he is stotreshu. Devata buddhiratmani. He even thinks that he is a veritable deity. Kita buddhir manushyeshu. And he thinks of other human beings as veritable insects. So kita buddhir manushyeshu. Nutanayaha shriyaha phalam. All these are effects of newly acquired wealth. When persons who become rich are surrounded with people who know what the truth is, so they know that wealth is not going to stay for long, and with mutual indications, they will be actually laughing at him, but this fellow won't realize. Avritya Srimadena Andha, on account of this arrogant sort of wealth, one becomes blind, and people around him, Anyonya Krita Samvidaha, they have some mutual understanding and communicate through their body language or whatever. Svairam Hasanti Pashvastaha, even those who are close to him will be laughing at him. So, Balon Matta Pishachavat, so describing him as a Bala or Unmatta or Pishacha, as but a child or a madman or even as a goblin, but he won't understand that. So, a rich man will be praised by those who actually deserve to be praised by him. This is a tragedy. Stotavyahi stuyate nityam, sevaniyescha sevyate, and people whom he should rather serve will be serving him. But yet, neither is he afraid, na bibheti, nor is he ashamed, na jikhreti, tathapi dhaniko janaha. So, this is the nature of a person who has got rich. He says, the pride and arrogance on account of one's becoming rich will be there in a person who has acquired wealth. Sometimes one who was rich, one who is no more rich, he will still be arrogant. Yatrasi asti va lakshmihi tatra unmada pravartatam. But the tragedy is, or the comedy is, that kule pyavatarathyeshaha kushthapasparavat katham. But even his successors, so they too will be arrogant. So this is like the diseases that are inherited, so congenital diseases like kushta, leprosy, and apasmara or epilepsy. Nilakanta has some words about those who carry tails. So he says, if you do the japa in the place called Gokarna in Karnataka or another place called Bhadrakarna, then all your evil deeds will get destroyed. Gokarne Bhadrakarne va japo dushkarma nashanaha. But if you do the japa in the ears of a king, Rajakarne japaha, that is whispering in the ears of the king, that is carrying tails, tail bearing. Okay, so this sarvakarma vinashanaha, it destroys all your evil deeds. That means the king will think highly of you and will take care of you. In another verse, he says, the crooked men and noblemen behave alike. How? Naswartham kinchid icchanti. They do not do anything for the sake of their own self. Okay? Na preriyante cha kenachit. And they are not induced to do things by others. Parartheshu pravartante. They always act for the sake of others. Shathaha santascha tulyavati. So the crooked men and noblemen. How is it? Naswartham kinchidichanti means great men do not want anything for their own sake. So they help others just for the sake of others. Naswartham kinchidichanti. And they do it, see, uninduced by others. Na preriyante cha kenachit. Parartheshu pravartante. They work for the good of others. Parartha. In Sanskrit, the word artha has 5 meanings. Artho abhidheye rai vastu prayojana nivrittishu. So abhidheya means meaning. And then rai means wealth, and then vastu means thing, as when we say, for example, yathartha or ayathartha and so on. So when you refer to truth or untruth, you say yathartha. So as facts are, as things are, yathartha. Their artha means thing. And then artha also means prayojana. For example, for the sake of cow is gavartha, and so on. And therefore, the word artha has 2 meanings which have been beautifully exploited here by the poet. So, parartheshu pravartante, great men work for the sake of others, for the good of others. Whereas these crooked men, they have all their eyes always set on the artha or money of others. So, parartheshu pravartante, shathasam dushtatulyur. Bhartrihari says in a beautiful verse, see, I can categorize people in these 3 ways. He says, Ete satpurusha. So, who are the satpurushas or the noblemen? Parartha ghatakaha swarthan parityajyaye. Without caring for what they may derive from that, they work for the good of others. Number 2, samanyaha, ordinary people. Samanyastu parartham udyama bhritaha. They work for the good of others. Swartha avirodhena ye. So, but they also ensure that their own interests are not harmed. Okay, these are ordinary people. Ye temi manusha rakshasaha parahitam swarthaya nignanti ye. So these are demons in the form of humans. Temi manusha rakshasaha, who destroy the good of others for self-aggrandizement, so for their own benefit. Swartha nignanti. Temi manusha rakshasaha parahitam swarthaya nignanti ye. And there is a 4th category of people for whom I have no label. Ye tu gnanti nirarthakam parahitam te kena janimahe. Those who destroy the good of others, so for no reason at all, they are utterly sadistic, and I do not know what to label them. Our Western Indologists belong to the 4th category. So it is against them that I have written those 4 books. Just get those books. I just wanted to show yesterday itself these 4 books. This book is Western Indology and Its Quest for Power. Volume 2 is Shastras Through the Lens of Western Indology, a Response. Volume 3 is Reclaiming Ramayana, so disentangling the discourses. And Volume 4 is Western Indology on Rasa, a Purvapaksha. These are 4 volumes that have been published by Infinity Foundation India. So, giving intellectual replies to the intellectual questions that are raised by Western scholars all against Hinduism. So there is one particular scholar by name Sheldon Pala, so who has studied many Sanskrit texts and he has studied Kannada also very well, and has always been attacking Hinduism in very subtle manners and in very technical manner. So making use of all of his scholarship. So and ultimately to gain nothing for themselves, they derive great pleasure in attacking other religions and other cultures and so on. So we can get all these books through Amazon, get Kindle copies of those books. So Western ideologies have been systematically attacking our heritage, and these are some replies to them. So he says, noble men and the ignoble men behave alike. Naswartham kinchidichanti napreriyante cha kenachit paratheshu pravartante shatha santascha tulyavatu. And I'll refer to one last section of people who are masters of pretension, dambha as it is called in Sanskrit and dambachara in Kannada. He says, an idiot can make a living if he has recourse to these 6 things. Kaupinam bhasitalepaha darbhaha rudrakshamalika maunam ekasanam cheti murkha sanjeevananishit. So he can impress people if he takes recourse to these things. So wearing a kaupina, so bhasitalepaha, smearing his body with bhasma, darbhaha, holding darbha in hand, rudrakshamalika, and a rosary, maunam, observing silence, ekasanam, sitting still for a long time. So if he has mastered these 6, then he can certainly flourish anywhere and impress people. He says, mantra bhramshe sampradaya. Suppose he utters some mantra in a wrong way, then he must say, it is our sampradaya. This is our tradition. Mantra bhramshe sampradaya. Prayogaha chuta samskrita. Suppose there are some lapses in the performance of the rituals. He should say, see, I am very practical. Prayogaha. So I am doing away with the unnecessary rituals and doing the essential rituals. Desha dharma stvanachara. Suppose he does something which goes counter to achara, then he says, in our region, in our deshachara, it is done only like this. So desha dharma stvanachara, prichatam, siddham uttaram. If he has ready answers like this, then he can definitely flourish. And he says, never perform acts of dharma in vain. He says, get full benefit out of that. So how should we do it? Do it in such a way that many people get to know of it. Yatha jananti bahavaha. So too many people should get to know that you are very religious and so on. And yatha vakshyanti datari. So some people even go and tell rich people, so and so is a very religious person and so on. So that beneficent fellow will definitely give this fellow some money and all that. Tatha dharmam charet sarvam. Do your acts of dharma in such a manner. Na vritha dharmam acharet. So don't do it in vain. So you must know how to make money out of it. Sada japapato haste. You must always have that japapata in your hand. So while performing sandhya vandanam, so when we make the counting, so it is said that there should be a cloth covering the japa. So it's not done openly. So have that in hand. Sada japapato haste. Madhye madhye akshimilinam. Now and then you close your eyes. Sarvam brahmeti vadascha, and tell again and again that everything is Brahman. So sadhya pratyaya. Instantly people will be converted to see your fold and they will begin to follow it. So he says, Amadhyanam nadi vasa. Right till afternoon, stay near the river. Samaje devatarchanam. When a number of people have assembled, then do the devatarchana, worshiping of the gods. Satatam shuchi veshascha. So let your dress be spotless and white and bright. Yeta dambhasya jeevitam. All these are the very life of dambha or showmanship. Tavad dirgham nitya karma yavat syat drashtra melanam. It's only as long as people are assembled in large numbers that you must perform your puja, etc. in a long manner, in a detailed manner. Tavat sankshipyate sarvam yavat drashta navidyate. If there are not many people around, you can make it brief. See, for all of our rituals, there are longer versions and shorter versions. And therefore, if there are nobody So one fellow said, see, I do want to be punctual, but who will be there to appreciate me? So that way, and he says another extraordinary method. Ananda Bashpa Romancho Yasya Svecha Vasham Vado Kintasya Sadhanairanye Kinkarasara Parthiva. If you want even kings to be your servants, okay, you don't need any other means. Have these means at your command. What's it? Ananda Bashpa Romancho. If these two things, you should be able to shed tears of joy. So at the moment of king, and then Yasya Svecha Vasham Vado, and Romancha is horripilation. If these two things are at your command, see in Bharatanatyam we have 4 limbs called Satvika, Angika, Vachika and Aharya. Aharya is the external ornamentation and dress etc. that you put so to evoke the proper rasa in the audience. And then Vachika is the words that you utter, whether it is in drama or in the course of dance, the singers sing the text. So that is the textual aspect of it. And then Angika is the movement, the bodily movements that a dancer makes. But the most difficult is Satvika, where, for example, the thrill and or great joy and great sorrow or fear that you should be able to show in your face. So through your tears and sweating and so on. So these are all called Satvika bhavas. So tears, shedding tears. So one cannot shed tears very easily. So unless one has absorbed the feeling very deeply. So in dance or in drama, it's not very easy to get that. So if you are able to master that, then you are really mastered the art. Now he says, apply that here. So Ananda Bashpa Romancho Yasya Svecha Vashamodao. And if they remain at his beck and call, so just like that he is able to shed tears of joy or show his horripilation. Horripilation, the word Romancha in Sanskrit means, Roma means the hair on the body, okay? Ancha is standing on end. So hair standing on end is called Romancha, okay? If one is able to get that, see, whenever he wants, then even kings will come and fall at his feet. Actually speaking, as we have seen earlier also, see, all these can happen only in the case of a genuine sadhaka. So all this is imitation. So all imitation has to be in the guise of something genuine. So that's what he is saying. So the wicked people, he says, Parachidreshu hridayam paravartasu cha shravaha paramarmani vachancha khalana masrajat vidihi. Brahma has created 3 things for the sake of the wicked. Parachidreshu hridayam, their eyes are always set on the shortcomings of others. Paravartasu cha shravaha. See, my friend said he worked in an institution where the boss would allow his subordinates to commit mistakes. Because once he has the list of mistakes that the subordinates commit, then he can catch them whenever he wants. So he can threaten them or punish them or do whatever. So wicked people have their eyes always set on the shortcomings of others. Parachidreshu hridayam, their lapses. Paravartasu cha shravaha, their ears are always directed towards speaking about others, so tales about others. Paramarmani vachancha, and when they open their mouth, they speak in a manner that hurts them at their vital points. So paramarmani vachancha khalana masrajat vidhi. And in the 100th verse, so there are only 102 verses. In the 100th verse, he says, I go down to Kali. Tasmai Shri Kalaye Namaha. Kali Yuga has 3 features. Number 1, Yatra Bharya Giraha Vedaha. The words of the wife or the Veda. So they are the new Veda. Yatra Bharya Giro Vedaha. Number 1. Number 2, Yatra Dharmaha Artha Sadhanam, where all performance of dharma is only to make money. And number 3, Yatra Swapratibha Manam. The criterion for deciding what is good or bad or right or wrong is one's own intelligence. The actual measuring yard for getting to know what is right and wrong should be what the Shastras say. So that Krishna says, so tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavasthitau. You have to know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Go to the Shastras, because the persons who have devoted their lifetime to know what is right and what is wrong, so they have arrived at those conclusions, and it's only by that that you can know what is right and what is wrong. Otherwise, whoever is committing some wrong will always have some kind of justification for that. So even a robber will somehow see, he will ratify or justify to himself the reason, he gives a reason for his evil deed. So most criminals when interviewed have given some reasons which they think are very plausible and that entitle them to do that act. And therefore, when we become an interested party, we cannot judge impartially. And therefore, one must always go by the words of those who have gone deep into the issue and have given their verdict. So, on the other hand, if one goes by one's own whimsies and fancies, whims and fancies, then it is ruined. So, Kali Yuga has these three features, namely the words of the wife or the new Veda, and dharma is all for making money, and then one's own intelligence is the final measuring rod for everything. And he says at the end, Kamamastu jagat sarvam kalasyasya vasham vadam kala kala prapannanam kalah kinnah karishyati. The whole world may be under the influence of Kala, but I am not going to be influenced by this Kala, that is by this Kali Yuga, because I had taken shelter under Kala Kala, that is Antakantaka, that is Yama, who is the death of death. So, and therefore this Kala won't have its effect upon me. These are actually the words of Bhishma in Mahabharata. So, the question is asked. So, when he's on his deathbed, Bhishma is asked. So, Kalasya Karanam Raja or Rajnyo va Kalam Karanam. So, which is the cause of which? Is the king the cause of the times he lives in, or is the time the cause of the king's behavior? And Bhishma gives his indisputable verdict. He says, Raja Kalasya Karanam. If the king is upright, then the citizens will be upright. And even if it is Kali Yuga, the king can bring in Krita Yuga if he is properly behaving. So that way, a right king. So if you are lucky enough to be under a right king, then you can tread the right track. So elsewhere in Sabharanjana Shataka, he has very clearly stated that he has made a parody of Kali Yuga, not to speak ill of various people and various professions, but only to show to ourselves what our lapses may be and to rectify ourselves. So when we are able to laugh at ourselves, then will we also be able to introspect and get to know what is the right way of living, and eschewing evil ways, we can pursue a right and righteous path. So that's the ultimate goal of this parody of Kali Yuga, which he has entitled Kali Vidambana Kavya. So this brings us to the end of this work. So I have obviously left out a good many verses here. So I have selected some of the best verses that can be released. So thank you for patient listening.
Anybody has any questions?
I came in late.
ನೀಲಕಂಠ ದೀಕ್ಷಿತ ಇದು ಬುಕ್ ಏನ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಸರ್ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ
Is the book available?
ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರ ಬುಕ್ ನೀವೇನಾದ್ರು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
No, I have not written. This has been translated into English by Dr. V. Raghavan long ago, and recently in the Clay Sanskrit Library. So once again edited by Sheldon Pollock. So this book has been it's available over the net. So you can go to if you go to Internet Archives. So there you do not get it by this name. If you type Kali Vidambana, I don't get it. You must type it as Kavyamala Volume 5, in which there are some 7 texts that are given, this being one of them. So there you get this text, the original of this text, you will get it.
How old is it?
Any other question?
How old is it? When was it old is the text?
17th century. So 17th century he wrote. So something like 1638 or so. That was the time when he wrote this work. So,
But some of the commentaries also look like a Lokayata philosophy. Did he prescribe to any material philosophy, or no? He was still a theistic person, but he was making.
what's the question?
No, did he prescribe to Lokayata philosophy, or is he a theistic person?
No,
making
he is
fun?
a very great devotee of the Lord. So he has written a number of stotras which are excellent. And he was not a Lokayata, he was a high class scholar, very great scholar. So he says that he wrote it for the entertainment of those poets and scholars in the king's court. Okay, so it's only for entertainment, so entertainment value. But himself was his Nilakanta Vijay Champu is one of the best champus in Sanskrit. His command over the Sanskrit language and his descriptive abilities are extraordinary. It describes the Samudra Mathana episode, so very beautiful. And then Ganga Avataranam, so the descent of Ganga, that's also another kavya. So he's also written two works on the pursuit of peace called Shanti Vilasa and Vairagya Shataka. So how to attain detachment in the world and how to attain peace. So these are very beautiful works. Only this work, Kali Vidambana and Sabharanjana Shataka. So another 100 verses. So just to please an audience. So these two works are full of wit and humor. So however, some of his other works, so Stotras, for example, on Rama, Prabhuvirastava is a Stotra on Rama. On Shiva, it is Shivotkrisha Manjari. And on Vishnu, he written a work called Mukunda Vilasa. So he's also written a drama called Nalacharitra, which is incomplete, but that shows his stamp of a great poet. So he written works on Sanskrit grammar also. So he's undoubtedly an extraordinary poet.
The beginning part we started with the Parvati and
That is from a different work.
so what work is it?
Mudra Rakshasa.
Mudra Rakshasa is a different one. So,
By Nilakantha.
yeah.
No,
So,
but that is by Vishakha Datta.
this is by Vishakha Datta. So we chose that verse only to show how wit is the essence in this whole book. Yeah.
And is there a long tradition of witty books in Sanskrit? Because normally people know about these great tragedies or epics and that kind of thing.
Is there a long history of witty works in Sanskrit?
Not a very long one, but there are works like this. Even in 20th century, there have been books written full of wit and satire in Sanskrit. There's one work called Kantakanjali. So that is a 20th century work on our society. So that sounds a very witty work.
So these books that you have got over there to rebut the arguments of Professor Polak of Columbia University. So why is it that this one single person has been able to, write or defame Indian literature, to this extent?
Why is it? How is it that Pollock has been single-handedly able to?
Has been singled out.
No, has been single-handedly working to defame Indian literature and
See,
heritage.
there are hundreds of scholars for the past 200 years. The day the Britishers came into contact with our civilization, right from then, they have been systematically working. See, in the beginning, Germans had a very high opinion of India. So, if you look into early Indologists, so for example, you have heard of Grimm's fairy tales?
Yes.
Grimm brothers, two of them were there. Okay, they were very good Sanskrit scholars. Okay, and they had a very high regard for India. You must have heard of Schlegel. So he was a poet. So Schiller and Schlegel was another scholar. So and then Herder. Some of these early German scholars had a very high regard for Sanskrit and for our heritage. And it is that which made them try to claim that they were the successors of our heritage, and they had this, they wanted to call themselves Aryans. Okay, so that's how it all began. But within a few decades, see, Europeans began to deride all this and try to say that their civilization is superior. Okay, and therefore they began to condemn this as utterly superstitious and so on. So earlier stages, in fact, it was a fashion in Germany to become a scholar in Sanskrit. Almost every university had a department of Sanskrit. That was when Sanskrit was first discovered by the West. So Sir William Jones in 1790, so some around that time he came across Sanskrit as a rich language. Of course, there were one or two feeble attempts that were made to learn and propagate Sanskrit. But after he passed his dictum saying that Sanskrit is a language, he says, I am quoting his words, which is more perfect than Greek, more copious than Latin, and more exquisite than either. These are his actual words. So he had expressed a great sense of wonderment regarding Sanskrit and its vast literature. Okay, it is thereafter that the serious study of Sanskrit began to take place. So, but soon enough, Westerners they began to condemn whatever comes from India as utterly useless and superstitious and so on. They have made use of a good number of ideas from our heritage, but they always pass a negative remark with it. So the hundreds of scholars have worked towards that end. So in the numerous journals and the university publications, so they have attacked our heritage. So even now it's going on. So there are hundreds of journals wherein they write articles against India. So, but not all is patently so. It's done very subtly, and they have a wealth of scholars. They study Sanskrit well, and unfortunately, we don't have very many scholars in India, so who do that job well. So there are not many Sanskritists in India today. So the tradition is lost because a person who studies Sanskrit cannot make a good living. So he cannot get money. There are no good job prospects, and therefore, even those who come from traditional families, they won't like to go to Sanskrit because their life will be ruined. Economically, it will be ruined, and therefore, only dullers go to study Sanskrit. And that way, in all university departments, you have Sanskrit professors who are not really quite knowledgeable. So in a good many places, we have people who are of very poor standards and they do not do a good job. And therefore, these people are not able to give a proper response. And further, it's not easy for our science scholars to get to know what the West is doing because, see, if you want to download one article from a Western journal, it costs something like $38. An article of 10 pages, it costs $38. So, who can afford that? So, there are hundreds and thousands of articles written by Westerners. So, if you look into, for example, Karl Potter's series of works called the Encyclopedia of Indian Philosophy, you can get to know the number of articles and books written on each branch and sub-branch of Sanskrit literature, okay, whether it is philosophy or scientific works or poetical works and so on. So our works on law, works on medicine, numerous branches that are pursued in Sanskrit. So you can see his set of works consists mostly of a bibliography, just a list of works, okay? That is why he wants to several volumes like this. Just a list of works, so more writings modern and ancient regarding various branches of knowledge in Sanskrit. It's such a vast literature. No single person can ever dream of mastering the vastness of Sanskrit literature. As I told yesterday in my speech, there are something 30 million manuscripts yet to be printed even for the first time. So there are so many Oriental libraries in our country which have thousands of manuscripts which have not been published yet. So the government doesn't take any interest. So,
but I'm sure there are so many organizations outside India, who would be willing to fund further studies, in Sanskrit by scholars who can genuinely, read and analyze in the right perspective, So why doesn't I'm sure you've thought of such efforts, to make such efforts to raise funds from outside India to study this literature. Even for example, why not Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation? I don't know, there's so many.
See, she's asking there must be quite a few funders outside of India. Why depend on the government? Even Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation might be willing to fund such studies which will
Put in the right perspective.
will fund the study of these manuscripts which have not been studied.
Or those who've been studied by people who are attacking those texts, you know. They're also picking up certain texts, right, from India and attacking or whatever, as you say, putting it in a negative way. So, you know, one can pick up those texts, see what they are choosing to pick up and attack. So why can't we raise funds from outside, from organizations?
No, there is great deal of lack of scholarship today. So the question is different, say some 50 years ago or 100 years ago, there were numerous scholars. So who lived a very simple life and who pursued knowledge for the sake of knowledge and who were very devoted to our tradition. But today we don't have people who are knowledgeable about our own texts. They can read the text, but they won't be able to understand. There are many technical texts you won't be able to understand. See, only 2 months ago, a translation of a work on town planning has come out. Okay, it's published from Jain University where I was working. So there was a person by name Professor R. Nayangar who was working in the civil engineering department of India of Science, and himself, myself, and one more person by name Wakankar. We three have translated the text on town planning and architecture in ancient India. It's a book of about 4th century AD. It requires a great deal of knowledge of engineering to translate a text, say, and explain what it means. So you have one work called Encyclopedia of Indian Architecture by P.K. Acharya. Okay, so it itself runs to several volumes. There is so much of technical detail that it is not easy to master even one field. There is a saying in Sanskrit, Ekasmin Janmani Ekam Shastram. You can at most master one field in one lifetime. There is so much of literature to look into and study. The concepts are so deep and so on. And therefore it is not possible for a single person to master more than one branch. Not very easy. And further, there is no concept of a good library in India. See, India, even universities do not have good libraries. The kind of libraries that you have for ordinary public libraries in US, you don't get something parallel to it in India, even in universities. So, all these days it was a big lack, you know, of access to important works. Now that the Internet Archive has come, numerous books are available now, but still there are hundreds and thousands of books which are still not available. So they have put scanned versions of many books, so we don't have books. And even if you get those books, it's not easy to fully understand and interpret those texts. So it's not merely language. So it's like expecting that a professor of English should also be able to understand a textbook on medicine. So just because he knows the language, you can't expect him to know, and understand a text on medicine. And therefore, a mere knowledge of Sanskrit is not sufficient. So one has to have some technical knowledge also. So the government, especially our own government, has thoroughly neglected the study of Sanskrit. And you see, if only the funds that our temples get by the donation of our devotees, if even that is devoted, a part of that is devoted for the protection of scholarship, publication of works in Sanskrit, so decipherment of the manuscripts and so on, even that will be a great help. But all our governments are busy swallowing the funds of the temples, and therefore they are not diverting the funds, making use of these funds for these purposes. And efforts on a very large scale are required. Whereas the West, so they study Sanskrit English because their life depends upon the publication. So the creed here, as I told you, is publish or perish. In India, that's hardly the case. So in most cases, even in universities, a good many of them are content leading a very simple life. So once their job is confirmed, they stop all further study and they're happy if they can get a site and build a house and get their daughter married. And that's it.
So if you don't mind, you can. Once again, I just want to say thank you very much for this great opportunity. Thank you all for coming. And once again, thanks Sandhya and Mahesh. You know, they actually here.
Really, I must thank Divya and Sandhya, the two sisters who are both of my students. So done very great help to me. So by and the this house has given me this opportunity. Yesterday also my talk was recorded, so I'm extremely thankful to all these people for making this possible.
Yeah, thank you, both you and all the best. Thank you very much. Again, thanks for coming. This is a light dinner, sir. So have your dinner and you can talk to him. He's not going to go anywhere. So the only thing is at 8 o'clock we have a Vishnu Sahasranama Parayana here. Sandhya's daughter, she's in hospital. So if you want to join, you can join. So you can spend some time here. So you're more than welcome. So please have it and then talk to him till 8 o'clock, and then we'll have the chant, and then you can continue talking with him. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This one.
ಸೊ ಇವರು ಈ ಶೆಲ್ಡನ್ ಪೋನ್ ಅಂತ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಟೆಲೆಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಸಿ ದೇವ್ರ